The birth of a legend. In 356 BC, a child was born in Macedonia. That same night, the temple of Artemis in Ephesus caught fire. The soothsayers of the era saw this as extraordinary, for to them the blaze was a sign that someone who would change the fate of the world had been born. The child's name was Alexander. His father, Philip II, was one of the most powerful kings in Greek history. His mother, Olympias, was known for her mysterious nature, prophecies, and the connections she believed she had with the gods. Olympias believed that her son was the son of Zeus, and she instilled this idea in Alexander's mind from a very young age. For this reason, Alexander never thought of becoming an ordinary king. He always believed he was destined for something greater. When Alexander turned 12, his father appointed one of the greatest philosophers of the age, Aristotle, to educate him. Aristotle did not only teach him philosophy and science, he taught him human nature, the art of governance, and how power should be used. Alexander made Homer's Iliad his favorite book and compared himself to Achilles, the hero of Troy. Even at a young age, the ideas of fame and immortality had taken root in his dreams. One day, when a wild horse that no one could mount was brought to the palace, everyone hesitated, except Alexander. He realized that the horse was actually afraid of its own shadow. Turning it toward the sun, he calmed it and mounted it. The horse was named Bucephalus, and together they would fight in countless battles. It became a symbol of Alexander's character, not fearlessness alone, but intelligence and leadership. Wars that would change the world. When his father Philip II was assassinated, Alexander was only 20 years old. The moment he ascended the throne, the Greek city-states revolted. The people believed this young king to be weak. Alexander did not hesitate. He razed the rebellious city of Thebes to the ground and sent a clear message to the Greek world. Despite his youth, this throne was unshakable. He then turned eastward toward the greatest power of the time, the Persian Empire. This decision was seen as madness, for the Persians vastly outnumbered him and were famed for their immense wealth. Yet Alexander trusted not in numbers, but in strategy and the art of war. At the Battle of the Granicus River, Alexander attacked despite his general's warnings, crossed the river, and nearly lost his life. But he did not retreat. Later, at the Battle of Issus, he confronted the Persian king Darius. When Darius was defeated and fled, Alexander did not harm his mother, wife, or children. On the contrary, he treated them with the respect befitting royalty. This behavior set him apart from other kings. Alexander valued earning respect as much as instilling fear. When he entered Egypt, the people welcomed him as a liberator. He was proclaimed pharaoh, and at the Siwa oasis, priests greeted him as the son of a god. From that point on, Alexander was no longer just a king. He was a leader who believed in his own legend. During his campaigns, he did not only destroy cities, he founded new ones and blended Greek culture with local traditions. The greatest example was Alexandria, a center where scholars, philosophers, and merchants came together. However, as the campaign advanced, it grew increasingly arduous. When Alexander reached India, his soldiers were exhausted after years of continuous warfare. Monsoon rains, disease, and endless battles had worn the army down. For the first time, his soldiers told Alexander that they were tired and wished to return home. As he accepted this decision, Alexander could not hold back his tears and wept for a long time, because he was forced to stop without reaching the entirety of the world he sought to conquer. A short life, an eternal legacy. In 323 BC in Babylon, Alexander suddenly fell mysteriously ill and died at the age of just 32. The cause of his death remains a subject of debate: poison, illness, or a body simply worn beyond endurance. When asked on his deathbed, "To whom will the empire be left?" his answer summarized his view of the world: to the strongest. He left behind a vast empire, one doomed to fragmentation. The wars among his generals and the ensuing chaos dismantled the order he had created, and the empire soon fell apart. Yet the name of Alexander the Great was never erased and will be passed down through generations in history books as long as the world exists. What set Alexander apart from other emperors was not only the lands he conquered. He was a unique leader who shared the same fate and dangers as his soldiers, and who sought to unite different cultures rather than destroy them. From Napoleon to Caesar, many great commanders studied his life and leadership, and perhaps his legacy played a significant role in the success of other great rulers. The immense legacy he fit into such a short life made him immortal. Alexander died, but his legend lived on, because some people do not merely rule the world, they change it. And Alexander the Great accomplished this in just 12 years. Do you think such a leader could come into the world again today? Share your thoughts in the comments.